Welcome to Silver Linings Talk Show. We are so excited to have you with us today. It is February 2023, and what a perfect time to talk about love and kindness. And I thought, let's just kind of highlight the fact that Random Acts of Kindness Day is February 17th. And not only that day are we showing kindness to others, but certainly throughout the year, but we just kind of wanted to highlight some great random acts of kindness.
Hopefully every day.
Yeah,
something kind towards somebody else. I mean, simple things, right?
Yes.
Can really make people smile, feel better, just feel worthy, right?
Absolutely.
We've even asked our viewers, what are some random acts of kindness that you've done or that have been done for you? And they've said, somebody's paid for my coffee when I was in line. Someone said paying for someone's meal in a restaurant if they're sitting alone. Someone said helping someone with groceries. Maybe someone who seems to have a couple carts or maybe
that's great.
Couple
Yeah,
kids
wow.
and a cart. And it's just like, just helping out people. You had like a great story that you came across.
Yes, I saw recently a story about a young newlywed who just felt like she wanted to pay it forward, and she reached out to a local elementary school. And she said, I just want to know how much is owed on all of the unpaid lunch accounts. And they're like, what do you mean? Which one? She's like, no, all of them. Give me a total.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think they gave her a total of like $500 or $600. She's like, that's it?
Oh, that's so great.
And she wrote a check and paid it. She didn't ask questions as to what it was about, and I thought that was just so amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And there's so many things you can do. I mean, just complimenting a stranger. Have you ever gotten a compliment from a stranger and how good that makes you feel?
Yeah.
Like really, there's so many things you could do without even making it a monetary, donation or amount.
The hellos, the opening the door for someone,
right?
a smile. I mean, those things can change someone's day.
And it doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be monetary.
Yeah.
And I love this one that is about mentoring people who want to pay it forward in certain career fields. And, certainly that has been a blessing in my household with my son wants to be a meteorologist. And there's been a great meteorologist who has said, you know what, I'm gonna kind of take you under my wing. So someone who wants to mentor youth and help make change in people's lives in different ways. I think it's awesome.
That's so great.
So Random Acts of Kindness Day, February 17th. But let's make it all year round.
Okay.
So when we come right back, we're going to be with our guests in North Carolina. Will be joining us via Zoom, and we're going to discuss how to embrace the change in online dating.
Ooh. Nice.
Yes.
I am so excited to introduce, coming from North Carolina with Diane Trone, Varsha Mathur is a certified dating and relationship coach and speaker. And how exciting is that? Because dating websites, right? She coaches singles and couples from all over the world to create confidence, attraction, and partnership. And she's using her experiences as a lawyer and mediator. I mean, how creative is that? To help people make decisions that will move them forward into these relationships. Welcome, Varsha and Diane. I can't wait for this.
Hey.
Hi.
We're so excited.
So I really am so curious about this topic, mostly because when my daughter met her first boyfriend, she admitted to me, and this was in college, that she met him on a dating website.
Wow.
So can you fill us in on this hot new trend?
Yes.
Like,
Surprisingly,
why
it's not.
it's not casual meeting versus websites.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more of a norm. In fact, I met my own husband on a dating site, and about 70% of people, 1 in 4 of married couples, are meeting their partners on websites and apps. And so it is a little bit more of the norm nowadays.
I met my husband 20 years ago on Match.com. You know, I mean, so that was a long time ago, but it's definitely proceeded and become more of a thing now.
And how about particular sites when someone wants to just kind of casually date, maybe when they're younger? Because I'm seeing it with clients too who are in college, and I'm like, well, there's people all around you, but they're going to the dating sites versus those that are really looking for like a committed relationship. So are there differences in sites to be using?
There are some differences, but what I always say is that you could be doing something totally different than someone else and meet someone for a very serious relationship on what some other people might consider to be a casual site, and then have a fling with somebody on a more formal site or long format site. So the way to look at it is people are typically expressing more interest in serious relationships when the websites show long format answers, more photos, more information about the person. And then there are the sites and apps that are just a photograph, an age, and maybe a small blurb. And people assume that that means that they're not as serious about dating. You can also consider whether it's a paid site or a free site, and that might determine how serious somebody is about really finding healthy long-term relationships versus flings. But I think it's really important to consider, and you'll hear me say this a lot, what you're doing and where you're doing it won't matter as much as who you're being when you're dating. Because I have lots of people telling me that they are meeting people and having long-term relationships with people on all sorts of sites.
Very cool.
Wow, that's really neat.
Awesome.
So talking about like those tips, right?
Yeah.
Talking about people creating their profiles. What are some of your top tips for someone creating their online profile?
Yeah, of course. So definitely first and foremost is pictures, because we can't get away from the fact that that is where someone will go first. And so you really want to make sure that the pictures are current within the last 6 months. Maybe have a friend take your photographs for you and show something where you're doing an action item. Maybe you like to walk your dog or you're into some sort of sport. You can always feature yourself doing that. And it's really important to have both close-ups but also full body pictures. Even if there's parts of your body that you don't want to show, eventually someone who's dating you will see that. And so it's important to just get it all out there and really showcase who you are and not have any surprises when the person finally meets you. And then in regards to what you write, it's really important to stay positive and not really focus on who you're looking for or what you're interested in, but instead just really showcasing yourself. Talk about what you like, talk about everything from hobbies to what you like to eat, and make it feel like when someone visits your profile, they get to experience you. So instead of just saying, I like to travel and walk my dog and I really like my work, you might say something like, the last time I was in France, I had this delicious baguette. I really missed my dog, but when I got home, I was able to enjoy long walks on the beach or something like that, so that someone can actually get an idea of your behavior and your lifestyle.
I love the lifestyle part. Yes, that's lovely.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. So now, as you set up this profile and as you get on these dating sites, what do you advise your clients to do when they start thinking about stigmas that are involved with these sites, and also, of course, the really important issue of safety? How do you stay safe when you're on these sites?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really easy to fall into the trap of thinking, well, I'm about to meet a potential romantic partner, and so you sometimes you put your guard down because you want to feel like, hey, this could be a relationship. But at the end of the day, this person is a stranger. And so you have to consider all the same safety things that you would consider if you were just meeting someone off the street, or maybe just met someone from a bar and were going out on a date the next day. Staying in a public place, maybe going out and doing things where there's more activity involved rather than sitting just one-on-one somewhere. And that takes a lot of the pressure off of the first impression, as well as gives you something to do or someone to talk to should you come into some sort of safety issue. I also really recommend vetting the person using a phone call first. And I don't just mean calling them by just getting some quick logistics sorted out on the phone. I mean, when you've connected on the app or when you've connected on a website, to actually exchange numbers and have a phone date where you can really get excited about meeting the person, get interested in who they are, and then meet in a physical space and in person. And it takes a lot of the stress out as well.
Absolutely.
Those are some
That's awesome.
really great.
I did before I met my husband, I Googled him. I did a little bit of searching on him, and I also called his office and just asked for him. I hung up before he got on the phone because it was like a new kind of, I hadn't even talked to him at that time personally, but I just wanted to make sure like who he said he was on the app was who he was, right? So,
yeah, and that's completely okay to, have a phone call and say, who are you actually? You can tell so much by someone's voice as well. And, it's important to also maybe tell a girlfriend or a family member, like where you're going to be and where the date's going to be held so that they can just follow up with you and make sure that you're safe as well.
and how about speed dating? Is that a thing these days? Are we getting back to that? I know during COVID, they stopped it for a while or whatever, but
yeah, speed dating is kind of fun, right? It gives you an opportunity to just be in front of a lot of faces at the same time.
Tell the audience what speed dating would be.
Sure. It's often you go to a place, and people have done this online as well, especially during the pandemic, but you go to a restaurant or a bar and tables have been set up so that you can actually sit down in front of each individual guest and have quick conversations, maybe 1 minute, maybe 5 minutes, depending on how the organizers have set it up. And you just see whether you want to take it further with the person. And what I recommend to clients and what I will share is that you really need to make it casual and fun and not an interview. You want to focus on inviting the person in to be themselves and just asking questions about maybe, what was the last dinner they had at a nice restaurant, or what concert did they go to last? Having conversations, and you can always figure out what their job is or what they're doing in their life and get the details later. But you really want to see if there is that chemistry and connection first.
Oh, that's a great tip. I love that. So you're going on a speed date. What do you wear? Like first impression. I mean, like
break it down.
Because you're jumping in and you're
I'm going to
meeting
show you
multiple,
some things. I brought some things.
multiple people, right?
Everybody, every woman, man, wherever you fall, it is really important to dress in a way where you feel confident. And that might be different for me than it is for you or for anyone else. And so having some power outfits that you can feel confident in is very important. Diane's going to show you some ideas.
Yeah, and I was going to say one important thing is you want to make sure it fits. You don't want to be, pulling on it. You don't want to feel uncomfortable at the date. So I have, for example, a red wrap dress on. I was at work, let's say. Now I'm going to take this jacket. It's a leather jacket. Throw this on, if you can see it, and throw it on with a pair of boots. Just make a cute outfit rather than something that looks like work. Or you could do a jean jacket. Depends on where you're going to meet the person. But the main thing is that you really want to feel like yourself. You want to and feel beautiful. And maybe you want to even like have some accessories or something. So you might want to, have a little scarf. Like, for example, I know this particular dress is V-neck, and it's, maybe I don't want for a first date for the whole neckline to show. So maybe I want to do something like a pretty scarf. And then maybe if the date's, going well, then I could go to the ladies' room and take the scarf off and feel, as long as I feel comfortable, right?
Exactly.
Or just something simple. This is a black V-neck. V-necks are fabulous, by the way. They make you look taller. And it's just something, it's got like detail on it. It's got like a little romantic sleeve to it. So these are some of the things I would choose because these are me. But the main thing is that it's you, right? That you feel comfortable in it and you love it. Like you feel really good in it.
Right, because that first impression is so critical. But if you are confident, it won't matter how you look or what you're wearing. And it will matter to you because it needs to be something that makes you feel beautiful or handsome and confident. And that's really the key, is so that you're not fidgeting or feeling uncomfortable or feeling pressure to wear something just because that's how you've seen other women dress for dates. It has to be your own.
Oh,
that's great.
Great answers. I love that whole confident and fits well, because I can't just imagine sitting there and fidgeting at a, when you're trying to have a conversation. I think that would be distracting to who you're talking to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And authenticity is always better.
Right,
Yeah.
Yes, being you.
Yeah.
So what about someone's feeling apprehensive about beginning online dating? Maybe they're a little introverted, maybe they're a little nervous. How does someone kind of get over that hump to the next step?
Well, first of all, there's no time frame for getting over the hump. If maybe you haven't been in the dating scene for a long time, maybe this is not your forte. It's really important to allow yourself the space to have the emotions around the discomfort, whether that means like journaling it out or doing some affirmations. My go-to is always to suggest finding a core group of people who can be your support structure. And whether it's before, after, or even during a date, get some words of acknowledgement and support, and let the people who are already your cheerleaders in life cheer you on to go into this next chapter of your life or to start something new. And that's going to give you the courage to know that people who already love you are rooting for you, and this new person who's coming into your life is merely just new and they don't know you. And so when there's ups and downs in datings, you can rely more on your well-vetted support structure and support team than this new person who may or may not like you or click with you.
And I'm also thinking like how important it is maybe to even go in with a mindset of I'm meeting someone new, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having all this pressure, maybe about, hopefully meeting the next person I'm going to date or marry, like kind of take that pressure off and go in with a mindset about meeting someone new.
Yeah.
That can be overwhelming, but on the other hand, what if you're an extrovert? I mean, is there a way that you should kind of pull back a little bit and not go full force in? Because that could probably be overwhelming to the other person.
Perhaps, yeah. And if you're that introspective enough to know that that's who you are, then something to consider is, how do you want your experience to be in the dating, but also what do you want the experience of the other person to be? And so if you're tuned in to how the other person is taking the way that you're talking or the way that your, body language is, then you can very easily pull it back or bring it forward and do a little more or less based on the other person across the table or on the phone. I think too often we're so focused on our own experience that we forget that we also need to be tuned in to the date and be thinking about what they may need as well.
Awesome.
That's
And
great.
are there courses that you know of or you do or something that help people if they can't meet with you in person, or what kinds of things can people do to learn more about?
Yeah, I mean, there are, lots of books, lots of stuff online. In my coaching, we have a program. My coaching can include everything from, what I call the basic stuff of dating, which is the logistics of your profile and your strategy of how you're going to go out there and meet people. But then on a more high level, are you believing in love? Are you believing that a healthy partnership is available to you? And sometimes clearing that up and knowing what you want in the future and how to find that in a partner can be more than half the battle. It's just getting a lot of clarity on what do I even want and how am I going to find that in a partner and why are those things even important to me?
Oh, that's awesome. There's people like you that can help people with that. I was all on my own winging it when I met my husband.
Same, absolutely.
So Varsha, is there any really big tips or anything else that you want to make sure that our viewers really understand as they're getting into this world of online dating?
It's important to consider that it is only one aspect of how you date. There are matchmakers, there are friends, family, activities, hobbies, all the different ways that you can meet someone new in your life. So remember that online dating is not the only way. And when it does tend to get daunting that you're swiping and you're not finding matches, or maybe you're going out on dates and it's like very time consuming, allow yourself to take a step back and recognize that this is only one aspect of you, one aspect of your life, one aspect of dating. And, I even tell people to put timers, limit yourself to how much you're spending time online or how much you're spending time trying to meet new people so that it doesn't become a chore. It's really important to keep the fun alive, keep the energy good.
Make it an adventure.
Make it an adventure, absolutely, yeah.
So
I love it.
I have to backtrack because you have such amazing guiding energy toward the dating app situation that we have here today. And you come from a lawyer and a mediator background. I would love to hear how you got from point A to point B.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I was married. When I was still practicing law in a firm, I was married and it was not the right fit, and I got a divorce. And in my personal background, divorce was just not very acceptable. Like in my family and in the society that I surrounded myself with, it was pretty unheard of. But I'm a little bit of a rebel, so I spoke out about it. I was very much writing and sharing about my life as a divorcee and then my life dating again. And people started coming out of the woodwork asking for help, especially once I was remarried. And the lawyer and me just wanted to do it the right way, to help people who had seen my story in a way that was really going to make a difference for them. And that's when I got trained as a life coach and began my practice in coaching.
Wow.
What a way to turn things around. I love that so
Absolutely.
much.
And just curious, a website that any of our viewers who are like, wow, I need her, can reach out and contact you.
Yeah, you're welcome to check out at Coaching by Varsha on Instagram or coachingbyvarsha.com, where you can schedule a discovery session and we can just have a no strings attached chat about whether it's the right fit for you.
Awesome.
Great.
Awesome.
And Diane, you were going to kind of help us wrap up this segment with something that's so important, which is self-love.
Self-love. Well, this is the month of love, February, and the thing that I love that I've seen people post before that really hit me is the question of make a list of all the people in your life that you love. How long would it take you to say your own name? Because we have to start with loving ourselves. If we are not in love with us, we are not going to find that love of our life. We'll be needy. It won't work right. So I wanted to wrap this all up with telling everybody that really the month of February, it's about relationships, etc., Valentine gifts and cards, blah, blah, blah. No, not really. It's about love for you. So take some time in February and just fall in love with you and make sure you mention your own name.
I love that.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's so true. When you think about all the people that you love in your life, how often do you actually say your own name?
Absolutely.
I love that. That's a great reminder, Diane. That was really beautiful. And we want to thank Varsha for being with us today. We are so excited, and you had so many wonderful things to share for online dating. I loved it. And certainly, Diane, it was always awesome to see you now because we get to see you via Zoom.
I missed everybody in Connecticut.
Was awesome.
And
you come first.
Yeah. And then certainly we want to thank Jess for being with us today.
Thank you
as
for
a
having me,
host.
ladies. Thank you, Diane, for
Absolutely.
letting me keep your seat warm.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes, thank you all, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.